The restaurant was the kind that tried too hard to look expensive. Soft jazz floated through hidden speakers, crystal glasses caught the light just right, and every table had a candle meant to signal class instead of warmth. It was the sort of place where people paid more for silence than for food. She didn't belong there. At least, that's how it felt. Her name was Anna, and she wore a simple black uniform that had been washed too many times. Her shoes hurt her feet, her back ached from double shifts, and her smile, though polite, never reached her eyes anymore. She worked here because tips were better than most places and because she needed the money. Not for herself, for the puppy. Tucked quietly near the service entrance, curled up on an old towel, was a small German Shepherd puppy. His ears were still too big for his head, his paws clumsy, his eyes bright and trusting. His name was Atlas. Atlas had been abandoned behind a dumpster 2 weeks earlier. Malnourished, shaking, terrified of loud noises, she had taken him home that same night, swearing it would only be temporary. But temporary love has a way of becoming permanent. Tonight, she had no choice but to bring him with her. The shelter was full. Her landlord didn't allow pets. And Atlas cried when left alone, cried in a way that sounded like panic, not noise. So she hid him where she could watch him between tables, slipping him bits of chicken when no one was looking. Most customers never noticed, until the rich couple arrived. They walked in like they owned the place. Perfect clothes, perfect hair. The man wore an expensive watch he checked too often. The woman's heels clicked sharply against the floor, each step announcing impatience. They didn't smile at the host. They didn't say thank you when seated. Anna was assigned their table. She approached with her usual quiet grace, not making eye contact too long, not speaking too loudly. "Good evening. Can I start you with?" The woman waved her hand dismissively. "Sparkling water. And make it fast." "Yes, ma'am." Anna turned to leave, and that's when Atlas let out a small whine. It was barely a sound. But the woman's head snapped around. "What was that?" she demanded. Anna froze. "I'm sorry. That noise," the woman said sharply. "Was that a dog?" The man looked around, annoyed. "You allow animals in here now?" Anna swallowed. "No, sir. He's not in the dining area." The woman stood abruptly, heels screeching against the floor. "I don't care where it is. I'm not eating in a place with animals." "I understand," Anna said quickly. "I'll make sure." She didn't get to finish. The woman walked past her, straight toward the service entrance. "Ma'am, please," Anna said, panic creeping into her voice. "That area is staff only." But the woman ignored her. She saw Atlas. The puppy lifted his head, tail wagging hesitantly, unsure but hopeful. "Oh, absolutely not," the woman said, disgust curling her lips. "Get rid of it." Anna stepped between them without thinking. "Please don't scare him. He's just a puppy." The man scoffed from behind. "Unbelievable. You waitresses think rules don't apply to you." Anna bent down, instinctively shielding Atlas with her body. "I'll take him outside. I promise. Just give me a second." The woman's face hardened, and then she did something no one expected. She kicked. Not hard enough to break bones, but hard enough to hurt. The kick landed against Anna's leg as she crouched, throwing her off balance. Atlas yelped, scrambling backward, slipping on the tile. The sound cut through the restaurant like a blade. Gasps erupted. Someone dropped a fork. Anna fell to her knees, arms wrapping around the trembling puppy. Her eyes filled with tears, not from pain, but from humiliation and fear. "Don't touch him," she whispered, voice shaking. "Please. That mud is a health violation," the woman snapped. "And you should be fired." That's when a man at the corner table stood up. He had been quiet all evening. Dressed simply. No suit. No visible wealth. Just a calm presence, like someone who didn't need to prove anything. He had watched everything. The moment the kick happened, something in his eyes changed. He walked over slowly, deliberately. "Ma'am," he said evenly. "You're going to apologize." The woman laughed sharply. "Excuse me, you kicked her," he said. "And you frightened the dog." The man with the watch bristled. "Mind your own business." The stranger didn't raise his voice. Didn't puff his chest. He simply looked at them with a kind of stillness that made people uncomfortable. "I am minding my business," he replied. "Because what you just did crossed a line." The manager rushed over, flustered. Sir, please, let's all calm down. No, the stranger said quietly. This doesn't get smoothed over. He turned to Anna. Are you okay? She nodded weakly, clutching Atlas to her chest. The puppy's heart was racing. The woman scoffed. This is ridiculous. We'll be contacting the owner. The stranger smiled faintly. That's interesting, he said. So will I. The man laughed. And who are you supposed to be? The stranger reached into his jacket, not abruptly, not threateningly, and pulled out a worn leather wallet. He opened it just enough for the manager to see. The manager's face went pale. Yes, sir, he said immediately. The woman's smile faltered. What is this? The stranger closed the wallet. Former Navy SEAL, currently here with a group evaluating community safety partnerships. The man swallowed. The stranger continued calmly, and one of the things we assess is how businesses handle abuse of staff and animals. The restaurant had gone completely silent. The manager stammered, Sir, we had no idea. That's not the point, the stranger said. The point is you allowed this. He turned to the couple. And as for you, your behavior just cost you more than dinner. Security arrived. The couple protested loudly, threats spilling out of them like poison. Lawsuits, reviews, connections, none of it mattered. They were escorted out. Anna sat on the floor, shaking. The stranger knelt beside her, offering a clean napkin for her scraped knee. You did the right thing, he said softly. Protecting someone smaller than you always is. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought him. He shook his head. You shouldn't have been kicked for caring. The next day, the story spread. Not as gossip, but as consequence. The restaurant issued a public apology. The couple was banned. The manager was replaced. And Anna, she received a call she never expected. A job offer, better hours, better pay, and help for Atlas. The stranger returned one last time, crouching to let the puppy sniff his hand. He's got good instincts, he said. Anna smiled through tears. So do you. Weeks later, Atlas grew stronger. Braver. His ears stood tall. And every time he curled up beside her after a long shift, Anna remembered the night kindness stood up to cruelty. Because sometimes the powerful reveal themselves not through money or status, but by stepping in when no one else does. And sometimes, the ones who think they're untouchable forget one thing. Someone is always watching.